Um, yeah, no guys pay attention to me or talk to me or even look at me. Yeah, no guys want to date me. Um, it's just
So the video just previously is a video of a self-proclaimed femcel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Of course, they don't exist. But instead of just regurgitating that information and saying the same thing over and over again, let's demonstrate with facts exactly why they don't exist. There may be some people on the fence, there may be some people in that grey area that might agree with some parts. So let's demonstrate using online dating statistics, for example Tinder, to demonstrate exactly why it's virtually impossible for a female to be incel. So our first data statistic comes from a 23-year-old female, and that's regarding her 13 months usage of Tinder. So let's look at the left side of the results. First we have left swipes 26,000 and the right swipes is 3,000. Next we have messaging and no messaging. So she didn't even message 1,000 of the matches. She matched with 2,000 people, so 2,000 people liked her back. Out of those matches, she only initiated conversation with about 50% of them. So that means even if you get matches, there's no guarantee to strike up a conversation. So before we move on to the right side of the diagram, let's analyze what we've actually seen here and what it actually means, what we've seen so far. So the left swipes are 26,000, completely outnumbering the right swipes. But what does it mean? It means that women are inherently picky, which is obvious. However, they're excessively picky. So this debunks the whole femcel argument. Because if we had a look at her Tinder data, chances are it's going to look exactly like this, because we know women are kind of similar in their behavior. This alone, the left side of the diagram, is enough to debunk the femcel movement. But let's look to the right side where things get even more black-pilled. Looking at the right side of the data, we can see longer conversations was 453 and never meeting up 448. Dates 5. I calculated this to be 1.1% chance of getting a date from this girl. You need to realize that at this point, the dates part is the only part that you've actually met up with this girl. Everything from the left point backwards is all online. So you've pretty much had to fight 4-5 battles pretty much just to get to the dates part. So you have a 1.1% chance of getting the date after all those battles. So then next we have 1 date 3, multiple dates 1, long-term dating 1. So it basically meant that she found the highest quality man in terms of looks for the long-term dating 1 and then submitted the results. While researching the topics, I thought it would be good to note that a lot of the Reddit posts that were posting the data had been taken down by the moderators, so it seems like they're trying their best to suppress the truth. So now let's look at another example. As you can see on this one, the left swipes is 34,000 and the right swipes is 2,000. So that's even more brutal than the last example. As you can see, as we scroll along to the right side of the diagram, it's a very slim chance of even getting to that position. And then when you are in that position, it's just another battle to even get a date. And then as you can see, the right at the end is relationship 2, no relationship 4. Looking at this next graph, we can see the amount of people that haven't had sex in the last year between the ages of 18 and 30. This includes men and women. Men being at 28%, women at 18. One thing we need to note though is men have every reason to lie about having sex, whereas women have every reason to lie about not having sex. What I mean by this is men have pride. They don't want to admit that they didn't have a partner in their last year, whereas women not only don't want to admit they had a partner in the last year, but also do not count certain things. What I mean by this is they won't count maybe a partner they've had for a day or two out of embarrassment. So this is an unreliable diagram. However, it gives us the complete minimum. We know that a minimum of 28% of men were incels in the past year. So as for the graph we just saw, I decided to open an Excel document to illustrate what I mean. So I've added this arrow here so you can see what I'm talking about, and if you scroll down, so I've created this new graph and this illustrates what I mean. So I've marked the point where Tinder was introduced, and I've also added what I believe is the more realistic numbers. So we can see the male inceldom is at about 38%, women about 6%, and as you can see I've conveniently changed the title to a more fitting one, being Young Women and Tinder Driving the Cause of Male Inceldom. So to add some validity to my claims, an article was posted called Fake Lie Detector Reveals Women's Sex Lies, and this was posted in 2003. So essentially they carried out a study where they asked about women's sex lives and men's sex lives, how many partners. The study concluded that women change their answers depending on whether or not they believe they will be caught out or not telling the truth. The number of sexual partners a woman reportedly nearly doubled when the woman thought they were hooked up to a lie detector machine. So this means that they still have social outlash if they told the truth, but this comes back to the point where although they feel this social backlash coming upon them if they do tell the truth, they still decide to be promiscuous. Also, they concluded women feel that they are under pressure to meet expectations of being more relationship orientated and not promiscuous, and that goes back to the point where although they feel these feelings, they don't give them any regard because they still be promiscuous and sleep around. And also it's very important to note that this study was posted in 2003 regarding college students that are female, so you can only start to imagine what the results would look like if they did it these days. This next picture is very interesting. Here we have a incel called Eggman. Someone did his Tinder experiment where they put his Tinder profile pictures up, got the most feminine looking ones even though they are unedited. He's a male. They replaced his name as Jennifer, and to the right of the photo you can see all the matches he's getting and also all the messages he's getting. It's assumed that these men are straight men. However, anything remotely female, anything that remotely resembles femininity, men jump to. So this debunks the misconception that men are picky. Next we have an article called Tinder Experiments 2. Guys, unless you are really hot, you are probably better off not wasting your time on Tinder. The abstract of the article highlights the commonly known theory amongst the black pill community called the 80-20 rule. It was highlighted in the abstract that the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness are competing for the bottom 22% of women, and the top 78% of women are competing for the top 20% of men. So based on the data that we've reviewed, we can safely conclude that women are extremely picky, more so than the previous generations, and men are fighting over scraps that are barely female these days. So that basically debunks the whole Femcel movement. So Femcels don't exist, they're just attention seeking women that are deprived from Chad. So when they say that no guy approaches me, no guy messages me, they're talking about Chad, because that's the only guy they see. So women have it inherently easier, to the point where an article was posted called "People are mocking an OnlyFans creator for posting about buying her dream house at 22. So she was able to buy her own house at 22 years old by selling pictures of her online. Most people struggle to pay off their mortgages throughout their whole lifetime. But she's already done it at 22 because of her selling pictures. And as you can see for a Twitter profile, she's actually encouraging other women to do it. She's saying, oh, here's how you sign up. if you want to do it as like me. They just have it so much easier, yet we have these femcels trying to claim that they can't find a man when there's women that are literally getting their mortgages paid at 22 just for the simple fact that they're female. The numbers I demonstrate in the video don't lie. What I want to know is what femcels have to say about this. What do they have to say about the numbers? All femcels just living in dreamland, pretending to be femcel when they know that they can get thousands of matches on Tinder? What's their response going to be to that? Oh, but that's thousands of matches of guys that I'm not attracted to. But that's not the point. That's not an incel. An incel isn't picky. An incel cannot get anything. So their logic is flawed. Do not regard femcels. They're fake. They're frauds. End of story.